Predator, Rocky joke origin. Predator may have started as a joke about Rocky Balboa fighting an alien. After Rocky IV ended with Rocky defeating Ivan Drago, a Hollywood joke started floating around that there was nobody left on Earth for Rocky to fight, so the next movie would have to send him against an alien. Screenwriters Jim and John Thomas eventually wrote a script called Hunter, which became Predator, and the basic idea was simple. Take the biggest action hero energy of the 1980s and put it against something that made human strength look useless. This explains why Predator feels like two different movies crashing into each other. The first half plays like a muscle-bound military action film, with Arnold Schwarzenegger, Carl Weathers, Jesse Ventura, Bill Duke, Sonny Landham, Richard Chaves, Shane Black, and Elpidia Carrillo moving through the jungle like they own it. Then the second half turns that same macho fantasy into horror. The joke was basically, what if the strongest human action hero had to fight something not human? The movie answered by making every gun, muscle, and one-liner slowly become meaningless. That is why Predator still works. It took the most overpowered version of an 80s action team and made them prey. Van Damme Predator Suit. Jean-Claude Van Damme was originally inside the Predator suit before the creature design was completely changed. Early versions of the monster were not the massive armored hunter fans know today. The first suit was thinner, stranger, and much less intimidating, with Van Damme reportedly expected to use martial arts movement inside the costume. The problem was that the creature did not look scary enough next to Arnold Schwarzenegger and the rest of the cast. Van Damme was also reportedly unhappy because he thought he would be seen on camera more clearly, not buried inside a monster costume. The original design was eventually scrapped. Van Damme left the project, and the production brought in Kevin Peter Hall, who stood over 7 feet tall and gave the Predator the towering physical presence it needed. This changed the entire movie. The Predator could no longer feel like a stunt performer in a suit. It had to look like something that could physically dominate the strongest men in the jungle. The failed Van Damme version became one of the most important behind-the-scenes changes in sci-fi history, because without that rejected suit, the Predator may never have become the huge, silent, ritualistic hunter audiences remember. Mandibles Design fix. The Predator's famous mandibles were added after the original creature design failed. When the first monster design did not work, Stan Winston and his team were brought in to redesign the creature. The final look gave the Predator its iconic mask, dreadlock-like tendrils, armored body, and insect-like mouth. The mandibles became one of the most important parts of the character because they made the Predator feel both intelligent and animalistic. Without the mask, the creature does not look like a normal alien with a human face. It looks like something ancient, predatory, and impossible to read. The mandibles also helped create the famous reveal near the end of the movie, when Dutch finally sees the hunter's real face and says, "You're one ugly mother." That moment works because the design is genuinely shocking. The Predator is not just a guy in armor. It is a creature with its own biology, culture, and intimidation style. Stan Winston's redesign turned a production problem into a franchise icon. Fans who study the movie know the final Predator design was not always the plan, and that makes the finished creature feel even more like a miracle of practical effects. Heat vision weakness. Predator's thermal vision created the exact weakness Dutch uses to survive. Throughout the movie, the Predator sees humans through heat signatures, turning the jungle into a blue and black hunting map where warm bodies glow. This makes the commandos easy targets because no matter how well they hide behind leaves, trees, or darkness, their body heat gives them away. Fans notice that the movie clearly sets up this rule before the ending. The Predator is not just invisible, it sees differently. That means Dutch cannot beat it by shooting better or punching harder. He has to understand how the creature processes the world. When Dutch falls into the mud and the Predator looks past him, the movie reveals the solution. Mud blocks his heat signature. Suddenly, the hunter's greatest advantage becomes a weakness. This is why the ending feels smart instead of random. Dutch survives because he studies the creature and changes his behavior. He stops fighting like the strongest soldier and starts thinking like prey. The heat vision rule became one of the most copied and remembered parts of the franchise because it gave the Predator both a terrifying power and a believable flaw. Dutch was worthy. Dutch survived because the Predator treated him as worthy prey. By the end of Predator, Dutch is the only member of his team left alive, and he has stopped relying on guns. He uses mud, traps, terrain, patience, and observation. The Predator could kill him from a distance with its shoulder cannon, but instead it removes parts of its advantage and fights him more directly. Fans notice that this does not feel like a normal monster decision. It feels like a warrior testing another warrior. Later Predator lore leaned heavily into this idea by establishing that Yautja hunters value worthy opponents and often follow a brutal honor code. Dutch does not survive because he is simply stronger than the predator. He survives because he adapts and earns the final confrontation. This explains why the ending is so powerful. The movie begins with Dutch as the ultimate action hero, but he only wins when he abandons the action hero fantasy and becomes smarter than the hunter. Predator fans have argued for years that Dutch's victory is the first major proof of the Yautja code on screen. The creature does not just want to kill, it wants the hunt to mean something. Billy knew first. Billy may have understood the predator before the rest of the team did. In the original film, Billy is the first member of Dutch's team who seems to sense that something unnatural is happening in the jungle. While the others focus on weapons, tactics, and enemy soldiers, Billy becomes quiet, tense, and visibly disturbed. He looks into the trees as if he feels something watching them before anyone can prove it. Fans notice that Billy's reactions make him different from the rest of the team. He does not just fear the predator, he recognizes the situation as something outside normal warfare. His final stand on the log became one of the movie's most mysterious moments because the film never shows the fight. Billy cuts himself, waits for the hunter, and accepts the challenge. Moments later, his scream echoes through the jungle. The theory is that Billy understood the rules before anyone else. He knew running would not save him, so he faced the predator like a warrior. This explains why the movie treats his death with so much weight. Billy does not die like a random victim. He dies as the first human in the film who truly understands he is part of a ritual hunt. Anytime, catchphrase. Get to the chopper became more than just a famous Arnold line because it captures the entire survival logic of Predator. The original line happens during the final escape, when Dutch is trying to get Anna out of the jungle while the Predator closes in. On paper, it is just an action line, but fans turned it into one of the most quoted moments in movie history because it represents the exact point where the mission is completely dead. At the beginning of the film, Dutch and his team enter the jungle with confidence, weapons, and control. By the time he yells for the helicopter, all of that is gone. The only goal left is escape. The phrase became iconic because it is simple, desperate, and pure Arnold. But it also marks the moment Predator stops pretending to be a rescue movie. The rescue team now needs rescuing. The jungle has beaten them. The alien has exposed them. The chopper is no longer military transport. It is the last doorway out of the nightmare. That is why the line survived for decades. It is funny, quotable, and dramatic at the same time, which is exactly why Predator became more than just another action film. Xenomorph Skull Easter Egg. The Predators hunt xenomorphs as trophies. In Predator 2, released in 1990, Detective Mike Harrigan boards a Predator spaceship during the final battle. As he explores the ship, the camera reveals a trophy room filled with skulls from the Predator's hunts. Among the collection is an unmistakable xenomorph skull from the Alien franchise. Fans immediately recognized the long head shape and realized the movie was suggesting that Alien and Predator could exist in the same universe. The Easter egg sparked theories that the Yautja hunted xenomorphs for sport. Director Stephen Hopkins and producers later confirmed the skull was intentional, not just a random background prop. The clue eventually led to Alien vs. Predator in 2004, which brought both species together on screen and established that predators use xenomorphs as the ultimate rite of passage for young hunters. Comics and video games expanded the idea even further, showing centuries of conflict between the two species. One skull in Predator 2 validated years of fan speculation and helped launch an entire crossover franchise. City Hunter Proof. Predator 2 proved the Predator was not limited to the jungle. After the first film, fans could have assumed the creature only worked in one type of story: soldiers, trees, mud, and remote jungle heat. Predator 2 changed that by moving the hunt into Los Angeles during a wave of gang violence, police chaos, heat, and urban warfare. The city becomes the new jungle. Rooftops replace branches, alleys replace trails, and gang wars replace military conflict. Fans realized the Predator was not attracted to the jungle itself, it was attracted to danger. The movie confirmed that any place filled with heat, weapons, violence, and worthy prey could become a hunting ground. Predator 2 also expanded the mythology by revealing multiple predators at the end, proving the first creature was not a lone alien, but part of a larger species with customs, trophies, and rules. The old pistol given to Harrigan showed that the hunters had been visiting Earth for a long time. This made Predator 2 one of the most important sequels in the franchise because it turned one monster encounter into evidence of an entire hunting culture. Ancient Hunt Ritual. Alien vs. Predator confirmed the theory that predators had been visiting Earth for thousands of years. Before AVP, fans already suspected the Yautja had a long history with humans because Predator 2 showed an old pistol from 1715, suggesting previous contact. Alien vs. Predator expanded that idea by showing ancient temples, ritual sacrifice, human worship, and xenomorph hunts staged as tests for young predators. The film revealed that early humans treated the predators like gods because they descended from the sky, carried advanced weapons, and controlled monsters humans could never understand. This explained why the Yautja felt less like random aliens and more like ancient mythological figures. The theory became important because it changed Earth's role in the franchise. Earth was not just a planet the predators happened to visit in 1987. It was a known hunting ground. Humans were not the strongest prey in the galaxy, but we were dangerous, violent, organized, and useful for ritual tests. Alien vs. Predator confirmed that the hunt was older than Dutch, older than Los Angeles, and older than modern civilization. The jungle encounter was not the beginning. It was just the one humans finally recognized. Game Preserve Twist. Predators revealed that humans were being taken from Earth and dropped onto alien hunting grounds. The 2010 film opens with Royce waking up while falling through the sky, with no idea where he is or how he got there. Soon, other dangerous people appear, including soldiers, criminals, killers, and fighters from different parts of Earth. At first, they think they are in a jungle somewhere on their own planet, but then they look up and realize the sky is wrong. They are not on Earth. Fans immediately understood how much this changed the mythology. The predators were not only coming to Earth to hunt, they could select prey, abduct them, transport them across space, and release them into a controlled game preserve. The movie also introduced different types of predators, suggesting rival clans and more brutal hunters who may not follow the same rules as the original. This confirmed that the Yautja were not just visitors, they were managing the hunt like a sport. The game preserve twist made the franchise feel much bigger because it showed that humans are not safe just because the hunter leaves Earth. If the Yautja choose you, the game can begin anywhere. Predator Pistol Timeline. The old pistol in Predator 2 became one of the biggest timeline clues in the entire franchise. At the end of Predator 2, after Harrigan defeats the city hunter, another predator gives him an antique flintlock pistol with the name Raphael Adelini and the year 1715 engraved on it. For years, fans wondered where the pistol came from and what it meant. The prop suggested that predators had been visiting Earth for centuries, but the movie did not explain the backstory. Comics eventually told one version of the pistol's origin, but the theory became even bigger when Prey was released in 2022. At the end of Prey, Naru receives the same pistol, directly connecting her story to Predator 2. This confirmed that the franchise was building a long history of Yautja visits across different eras. The pistol is not just a weapon, it is a timeline object. It links the Comanche encounter in Prey to the city hunter in Los Angeles and proves that predator stories can happen across centuries. Fans who always believed the pistol mattered were right. It was not just a cool antique, it was evidence that the hunt had been going on long before Dutch. DNA upgrade theory. The predators suggested that some Yautja were not just collecting trophies, but collecting genetic advantages. In earlier films, predators hunted to prove skill, earn status, and collect trophies from worthy prey. The 2018 film changed that idea by introducing predators who used DNA from conquered species to improve themselves. This made the hunt more disturbing because the strongest prey no longer became only a skull on the wall. It became material. Fans noticed that this created a major split inside the mythology. The classic predator follows a warrior code and values the challenge. The upgraded predator is bigger, more aggressive, and more interested in superiority than honor. The theory says that if predators can absorb useful traits from the species they defeat, then every hunt makes them more dangerous. They are not just learning from prey, they are stealing what makes prey powerful. This turns some Yautja from ritual hunters into evolving weapons. The DNA upgrade theory matters because it threatens the one thing that makes the predator understandable: the code. A predator with honor might give worthy prey a chance. A predator chasing genetic perfection has no reason to play fair. That is why this theory changes the entire franchise. It means the trophy wall may not be the final goal anymore. In the old version of the hunt, the skull was the reward. In this new version, the skull is just evidence that the real prize was already taken. Strength, speed, intelligence, resistance, survival instinct. Whatever made that prey dangerous could become something the predator uses later. That makes every species it hunts part of the next version of itself. The more dangerous the prey, the more valuable the upgrade. This also explains why the upgraded predator feels less ceremonial than the classic hunter. It does not feel like it is there to test itself. It feels like it is there to collect resources. That shift is huge because it turns the Yautja from warriors into scientists with weapons. The hunt stops being a ritual and starts becoming research. And once that happens, humans are in a much worse position. Because if the predator sees humanity as useful, then we are not just prey anymore. We are potential ingredients. Our aggression, our adaptability, our ability to survive impossible situations, all of that could become something the Yautja want to study. The scariest part is that humans might actually be more valuable than we think. We are not the strongest species. We are not the fastest. We do not have claws, acid blood, natural armor, or advanced biology. But humans adapt under pressure. We make tools. We learn patterns. We turn fear into strategy. Dutch did it. Harrigan did it. Naru did it. That kind of adaptability may be exactly the trait an upgraded predator would want. So the DNA upgrade theory does not just make the predator stronger, it makes every human victory dangerous, because every time a human beats a predator, it proves humanity has something worth stealing. Yautja Honor Code. The predator is not just a monster, but a warrior following a brutal set of rules. Across the franchise, fans notice the same patterns repeating. Predators usually target armed prey, respect courage, collect trophies from dangerous opponents, and sometimes ignore people who are helpless or outside the hunt. That does not make them good. It makes them terrifying in a more organized way. If the predator were only an animal, its violence would be chaos. But if it follows a code, then every kill becomes a judgment. Dutch survives because he adapts. Harrigan survives and receives a trophy because he proves himself. Young predators face xenomorphs because the deadliest prey creates the greatest honor. Naru survives because she studies the hunter better than it studies her. The Yautja Honor Code explains why the predator has lasted longer than most movie monsters. It is not scary only because it kills. It is scary because it chooses. The rules exist, but they do not protect you. They only decide whether you are worth the hunt. That is why every crazy predator theory points back to the same idea. The predator is not evil in the human sense. It is honorable by standards that should terrify us. And that is the part people sometimes miss. Honor does not make the Yautja safe. Honor makes them worse because it means their violence has meaning inside their culture. A random monster can be escaped, trapped, or destroyed. But a culture built around hunting can return again and again. If one predator dies, another can learn from the kill. If one human survives, that survival becomes a story. If one warrior proves worthy, Earth becomes more interesting, not less. The code means the hunt is bigger than one creature. It means there are ranks, traditions, punishments, rituals, and expectations. It means a predator is not just acting on instinct. It is performing something it was taught to value. That is why the Yautja feel different from other horror villains. Jason comes back because he cannot stay dead. Michael Myers keeps killing because he is evil without explanation. The xenomorph spreads because that is what its biology demands. But the predator returns because the hunt is part of its identity. It chooses the battlefield. It chooses the prey. It chooses the weapon. It chooses when to reveal itself. And sometimes, it chooses to walk away. That choice is what makes it terrifying, because it means survival is never just about being lucky. Survival means you were judged and allowed to continue. The Yautja Honor Code turns every encounter into a test. If you are weak, you might be ignored. If you are helpless, you might be spared. But if you pick up a weapon, stand your ground, and prove you are dangerous, the code does not save you. It invites the predator closer. So the final truth of the franchise is not that humans are powerless. It is worse than that. Humans are interesting. And to a species like the Yautja, being interesting may be the most dangerous thing we can be.